Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and once again, I am joined by Angel.
Hi.
Hi. And today we are here to cover the final week of Port Charles Fate, the first arc in the Port Charles arcs. I can't believe we're here already. So let's roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So Jamal has let Allison drive the motorcycle. They've gone for a little bit of a joyride. And last we saw, Jack was going to watch the new bike shop garage, however you want to refer to it, when two of Travis's thugs came in and started to trash the place. So we pick up with Jack holding a crowbar or a wrench or some kind of tool, ready to fight and fend off these thugs. And Chris and Livy walk in and they scurry off. And Chris makes a comment, Jack just can't seem to stay out of trouble.
Asshole. And then the Jamal and Allison scenes are really adorable.
They were.
With the bike. Yeah.
Gabby comes to see Ariana. And she's still a little jumpy, even though Ben has left the country, allegedly. Gabby wonders if Ian told her how long he'd be gone. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Ariana wonders if Ian told Gabby how long she would be gone. Ian would be gone. So last we saw, Ian showed up on the island where Eve is now sick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just supposed to be a coincidence, right? He just got like a call that somebody was sick.
Yeah, he got a call that the kid was sick, and he didn't know that Eve was there.
Mm-hmm.
So of course Eve, not cured the kid, but the kid felt better, and then she got sick. So now they're like, oh, somebody else got sick. So
yeah. So at first when he showed up, I'm like, is he thinking, no, I just have to clear my head. Let me just fly away to this foreign island to clear my head for a day and like fly back. And oh, look, Eve's here and she's sick. I have to help her.
Yeah, because remember they were saying, oh, the doctor's not going to be here for a day. So
right.
We just didn't make the connection that was Ian. So
right.
Or the audience didn't make the connection that it was Ian. So we're not supposed to make the connection with Ian until he came in.
Right. Eve is still hallucinating past lives with Ian. In reality, he runs to her bedside and tries to help her. Chris has called the cops to report the bike shop situation and an ambulance for Jack, whose arm is not broken, but maybe like out of place. Dislocated.
Yep.
Ariana tells Gabby about her family and how they were close, and she says she misses her mother and her sister. And then she lets it slip that Ben left because he thought he killed Joe, and Gabby starts freaking out, and she's like, what do you mean?
Joseph Scanlon!
When she said Joseph, I was like, ooh, full name.
Oh, when she said Joseph, only Ian could call him Joseph.
Right. Joe comes down and she screams at him, how could you be so stupid? Ian talks about his connection with Eve and to the island, and he kisses her and she wakes up from her hallucinations. Chris gives in to Livy to help Jack himself because he's in pain with his arm. And he lays him down and snaps his arm back into place. Oh, that must have hurt.
I'm actually happy that they didn't include sounds with it. They just include him grunting and moaning and everything like that. And if they included sounds, I would, because especially since I had my earbuds in at the time, I would be like, oh, no, I'm sure on shows like ER, they probably do have sounds like that.
They probably
I've barely watched ER, but I'm so sure they would
have. Allison and Jamal come back and wonder what happened. Ariana sees how much Gabby and Joe love each other when she's mostly just screaming at Joe.
That was awkward. It's like being at your friend's house and the mom yells at the kid and you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Joe says something like, "I never realized that somebody could love somebody that much," or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's going on, and she's like, "We just got over your whole HIV scare. She's like, purposely put yourself in danger like this." He's like, "I wore a bulletproof vest," and she's like, "Did you wear one on your head?"
Yes.
And then he was like, "They were blanks." She's like, "Right, because nothing's ever gone wrong with blanks." And I thought about, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Ooh, she's right."
I immediately thought about that. I was like, ooh.
But Ariana was like watching them, and it was almost like she was realizing, "Oh, this is what true love is. Ian doesn't look at me like this." And this, like, I felt like that was what she was conveying with her face.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate her as much this week.
No, she wasn't as annoying. I think the one part that was annoying, we'll get to it. But I think it's mostly because of the music. So we're gonna get to it. I
think her having scenes with Gabby is making me tolerate her more.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gabby. Jack tells Jamal the guys work for someone named Travis, and Jamal asks him not to say anything to the police. Allison worries that Jamal will go after Travis, but he says he can't because if he does, Travis will just keep coming back, and worse things will happen. Ian has moved Eve to the beach, and he's doing not real medicine to save her life. He's basically just like trickling water over her head.
Yeah, like what she did, doing the fan trickling water over her head, just like they did with the kid. They could have done that with the kid.
I was like, this isn't real. Okay.
Where's the penicillin at?
Okay, also, like, side tangent really quick. I felt very triggered by these past live flashbacks because, spoiler alert for anybody who's watching Passions for the first time, we had this with Luis and Sheridan, and
oh my gosh,
they didn't end up together.
Yep.
I was they ended up with, but
oh yes, I already know. I'm pissed. Mackenzie Westmore's pissed. I think Galen Gary might have been pissed.
But back to Port Charles. Karen walks in on Frank talking to the computer, whose name is Nellie. I clocked the name.
Nellie, yep. Which is also a character on, Nell on General Hospital. So.
She's brought him some classic 45 records from the 70s. Kevin and Lucy run into each other at the hospital, and she's there to have some tests done. And she basically can't deal with Kevin, and she's like, "I thought I told you to just like stay out of my universe." Eve wakes up and is surprised to see Ian is really there. Karen and Frank tried to start the computer, but it shuts off after a few seconds. They have a record playing and they share a dance.
Sounds cute.
I'm not really like familiar with a lot of 70s music, so I don't know if that was like a real song they paid for.
I think it was. I forgot to clock it on my
I should just slammed it.
Sam, yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So Lucy is having tests to see if she's able to get pregnant. And Kevin and Victor are having a talk about what happened. And I wasn't really paying too close attention to this conversation because I clocked the payphones in the background and they were distracting me. Payphones. We're still in that period. I remember on days, probably like 2 hospital sets ago, they used to have like a row of payphones. Somebody would always be like pretending to talk on it and like eavesdropping on conversations, or they'd be making like a shady phone call from those people.
Yep.
Ian tells Eve he has treated patients on the island for years. He got word that the boy was sick and came to find out that the woman that cured him was sick. Ian tells her they gave her Morca. Am I saying it right? Morca? Is that what they called
I
it?
think that might have been it, yeah.
Because they thought she would die, so they were like, all right, we might as well just give her something nice to think about. We'll drug her up. Basically, homeopathic morphine.
Yeah.
She says it made her have hallucinations or visions, and he thinks maybe it was a glimpse into another lifetime. Karen gets a phone call from St. Jude's that they have an opening for a course that she had applied for a few months ago in Tennessee.
Mm.
She tries to assure Frank that it will only be for a few weeks. The doctor informs Lucy that prior to Rachel injecting her with a virus, she was already had complications trying to get pregnant. Like she was gonna struggle, but the virus made her fever so high that it caused permanent damage, and she cannot have children ever.
Oh.
Lucy is devastated, and she runs off. And Kevin gets a call. There's a woman on the roof that could be a jumper. When he gets to the roof, he sees Lucy. I was like, oh, shit. All right. Jack is at Jamal's for dinner. Jamal's and Allison's for dinner. The apartment's filling up. It's starting to look like a real apartment.
Yeah.
Jack tells Jamal that he needs to stay away from Livy. And then there's a knock at the door, and it's Livy.
She like how things work out.
It's fate. The aide for Livy's grandmother that's reporting back to Chris tells her that she left the house and she was dressed all fancy. But she thinks she went to go see a friend. She also tells him that she cut out like a flyer for a band that she likes, and she like fished it out of the garbage.
Mm.
So Chris takes it and he makes some phone calls. Kevin gets Lucy's attention on the roof, and he tries to talk her down, but then she points to there's actually another woman on the roof who just lost her husband.
I think her name was Sarah.
Sarah, yes. Kevin ends up being able to talk Sarah off the roof by telling her, you know, the universe isn't always fair, but there's a purpose, and there is things. She won't be lonely, because that was her fear, that her husband just died and she doesn't want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
Mac was there. In most situations like this, I feel like the person that is threatening to commit suicide is like arrested. At least that's how I feel like it's portrayed on TV.
Yeah, because I think the cops are there just to like, in case something happened, just to kind of protect the people who are there.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go into IRL situations. You know, when I have to go to the hospital, the cops will always come first just to make sure to assess the situation.
Yeah.
And then the ambulance will come and take me to the hospital. So, just the time, yeah. So in case it was like, you know, if somebody was belligerent, the cops will come and or attempt to come, and now, you know, cops, not all cops are good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ambulance will come out like behind them. So
yeah.
But it's Mac, so it's Mac. He can barely take care of Georgie and James.
I mean, I felt like
that clip.
I feel like this was handled a little bit more delicately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he told them to prescribe her some medications, and they took her down to have her checked out. But like, I feel like we never see the rehab. We always just kind of see like, okay, it's over. We got off the ledge, and then who knows that person.
And then I noticed that like there's always this like there seems in the arcs at least one other time there's always this like patient of the week or patient of the arc. Like there was Sarah, there was the guy who went what was that?
The guy with the grenade, the vet.
Yeah, the guy with the grenade, yep. I feel like I don't think there was another one either. So there was like this patient of the arc of the chapter, I guess, in this case.
Who our main characters always know, but we've never seen.
Yep. I guess Ariana kind of counts as one, but she became a main character, so.
Livy says she's going to the opera with Chris, but lies and said that she needed to borrow earrings from Allison. This is just a lie to get so her and Allison can kind of talk in secret. Jamal ends up offering Jack a job at the garage and a place to stay in the back of the garage.
It's coming together.
Livy congratulates him, and Allison says she has her own plans for the garage, maybe to make it a hangout. And I was like, people don't want to hang out at a garage. I don't
think so.
They talk about putting like a jukebox in, and maybe like not a bar, but like I guess for like coffee or like soda or whatever.
Yeah.
Livy leaves and Jack runs outside and asks her not to go. Jack tells Livy her fancy look isn't her and she looks much more beautiful in jeans and a t-shirt. Chris shows up and has brought the lead singer of the band that she had cut the flyer out for. The band member asks Livy to come see the concert, and she says she doesn't want to blow off Chris on the opera, but he says they could go to the opera anytime, and he'll take her home to change so that they could go to the concert.
Which that's some nice guy behavior right there. It's like Chris saying like, "Oh, I like the opera." No, actually, I like this band that you like. So,
meanwhile, in private, he's like, she'd rather listen to this garbage. Livy is so excited, and she says it's almost like Chris could read her mind. And Kevin sees Lucy looking at newborns. I put Eve wakes up with beachy waves in her hair. She's feeling better, and Ian tells her he loves her, and she huffs. He asks what's the matter, and she says, "Your wife." Ariana wants Gabby to teach her American slang. She also wants to change her look and maybe take some college courses. Gabby wonders if trying to change herself into the person she thinks Ian would want her to be. Someone like Eve.
Yeah.
Ian fills Eve in on what happened with Ariana's brother. I laughed when she was like, he thought he killed Joe. She's like, Joe's dead? He's like, no. Like, would I be this comp? He says he did what he did because he didn't think that him and Eve had a future together. He says that he and Eve can't act like a couple in Port Charles for Ariana's sake with immigration. Eve says every time they are so close to being together, something tears them apart, and she wonders how long it will be like that. Ariana tells Gabby she feels like a burden to Ian, and she wants to be able to live her own life once they are not together. Kevin approaches Lucy at the hospital, and they kind of have it felt like a breakup scene, even though they weren't officially together.
Yeah.
She just talks about her hopes and her dreams and how they're never going to come true. And when she was a kid, she basically thought life was going to be all like balloons and cotton candy.
Yeah.
And she basically tells him that they're not good for each other and that it's just never going to work out between them. And it was a little sad. I was like, really?
Yeah.
I thought this was like how their story was ending for the arc. I was like, that doesn't feel like fate. Ian goes for a swim, and when he gets back, Eve wants to make love. They made his chest nice and glossy as if he was out swimming.
Yeah. Quick, spray some water on him. Make sure
Right.
he look like that he's.
Eve wants to know Ian's whole body, and she wants him to know her whole soul. And I was like, okay.
Oh wow! Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
And she removes his wedding band. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
And they get their very own song. I was like, okay.
They get. Oh my God! What is that song called?
Couldn't tell you
Oh
who
my-
sang it. Didn't, but I knew all the words because
Yes, I knew. So I can't tell you who sings. I know all the words. I was waiting for that part where I could not ask for more. That part, but they cut it off. I was like, no, that's my favorite part of the song. I think they played it also on like As the World Turns.
Did they?
They might have.
This I don't know why this sticks out in my head, but As the World Turns. I remember around New Year's one year, it may have been around 2008 going into 2009, they played Brandy's Departed, because that was a cliffhanger song, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know, As the World Turns get Brandy.
It's back when soaps had money.
And then it was canceled 2 years later.
Yeah.
Karen walks in on Frank getting frustrated trying to fix Nellie. And even they got their own song also. So this must have been an expensive episode because they played for a lot of music, right? She came to see him before going to the airport to go take that course. He's frustrated. He said, I shouldn't have gotten you this piece of junk. Like, I should have just got you flowers. And I'm like, or a Mac.
Heck, Windows XP was good back then, too.
I put for Ian and Eve sexy, and I put candles everywhere. There's just lots of candles on the island.
Where the candles come from? I don't know. Let's go with it.
I didn't catch the woman's name on the island. I thought I heard Maya.
I think that's what it was.
Or Myra, something like that. But she's kind of like eavesdropping on Ian and Eve's Afterglow conversation. And I was really confused by the look on her face because I'm like, what is she up to? She doesn't look happy.
Yeah.
And then we see a scene with her. She brings them. She says she's scared for their future, but she could show them their past. Something along those lines. And she brings back like these little shots of, Sambuca. I don't know. It's a potion. She basically is like roofing them.
Yeah.
And they take the shot, and that's that. So I don't know what this is going to do. Is this going to put them in like a permanent haze that they're living their past lives and they're not going to leave the island?
Will Past Lives from Kesha play?
Kevin and Lucy are kind of like reflecting on the conversation of their breakup, not breakup. Lucy sees herself as a child, and she's basically just like, give up your dreams, kid. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. And then they had a brief flashback with her and Aunt Charlene.
Was that a real actress? That's all.
Yeah.
Because she looked familiar, and I was like, I wonder if that really is her mom.
Well, no, it's her Aunt Charlene.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with her mom. I know, like, her Aunt Charlene, I don't know if she raised her. Somebody will tell me tell us in the comments. I don't know if she raised her or if she just hung out with her a lot. And she actually made appearances on Port Charles prior to the arcs, too. So.
Okay, so she was a General Hospital character?
Yeah, she was a General Hospital character, I believe.
Okay, cool.
And Lucy had just mentioned Aunt Charlene recently,
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand, on GH.
Um, while Karen and well, I'll get to that. Kevin and Lucy actually get together because when Lucy comes home, he's filled her new. I always want to call it an apartment. I guess it's a house. Her house with balloons and cotton candy, and it was really sweet. I was like, oh, it is sweet.
Yeah.
Everybody that's supposed to be together is now together.
Well, not really. We'll get to that.
Yeah, they kind of seemed like they were just kind of like a side story because they didn't really get any like conclusion to their.
Yeah,
it is starting something new because of the bike shop, and I guess they'll be more prominent in the next one.
Yeah. Well, technically, even Ian are not together because he's still married to Ariana. So
At least they're having sex now.
yeah, right. It happened.
Like we can't see this until we're not with our like significant other. So Karen and Frank are dancing to oh, what is the name of that song? Give Me the Beat Boys. It's an oldie. It's a real song.
It's a real song. Yeah.
And Nellie turns on all on her own.
Yep.
And we get the Port Charles Time in a Bottle starts Monday. And I was like, oh, I forgot they would make an announcement like that.
Yep.
So, and that was pretty much it for the week.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt like it was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was.
I felt like a lot of the weeks in between were more exciting and drama filled. So, but I'm excited to start a new arc.
Yep.
What was your favorite chapter of this arc?
I actually liked Deception because all of the because like it's all of like the what was I trying to say? Oh, it's like because of the whole Lucy trying to convince Kevin that like even Ian are really dead, not running away and running away with each other, and which they didn't. I'm sorry.
That was the first chapter?
That was second. That was in the middle.
Oh, okay.
That was like January-ish. January, so.
Looking back, I think the first one was my favorite. I actually like the whole Harris part of the story. And he did not come back.
He did not come back.
I still don't think he's dead.
I don't think so either. That would have been a great little kernel they could have kept for like another arc.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they really wanted to, but
the character of Ariana really didn't go in any direction that I thought it would. Like we had speculated she was connected to Harris, which is something they should have done, honestly.
And then like the whole American, I'm trying to be American. That's the part that kind of got on my nerves with Ariana, because it's like, no, you just be you. And then like when they did like the montage, the music wasn't what I wanted it to be. I want the music to be like something copyrighted, which obviously they got that from the SoapNet from the SoapNet broadcast, because you know we figured out that like SoapNet doesn't keep the music. Yeah, but I wanted to be something like, I don't know, Supermodel by RuPaul or something like that, because RuPaul was on the show at one point. So
I know you had mentioned this in one of the episodes, but like I remember Belle and Marlena shopping, and it was like "Come On Over" by Christina playing. What was I gonna say? Yeah, even though I tolerated Ariana more this week, in the beginning of the week, I was like, all right, so how are we killing her off?
Yeah.
But we do know that she doesn't stick around, so
yeah,
I don't know how she's going to get written out.
I forgot how she got written out.
I think we're going to see Ben again. I don't think we're getting rid of him that easily, especially if he finds out that Joe is still alive. He'll be back. Um, I hope we see more of Gabby and Joe, and they're not just like these quick scenes that we've been getting of their relationship. I actually want the story. I remember them kind of having a little something at the beginning of Tainted Love. I don't know if they had things prior to that.
Yeah, I remember the whole Tainted Love part with Gabby.
Mm-hmm. I know Joe leaves at some point, but I don't remember like how.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume they have a Doctors Without Borders and they sent him there. Like on All My Children and Days of Our Lives. Like these are just everybody to Africa. Everybody to Africa. What part of Africa? Just Africa.
When Frank said to Karen, when he was talking about how like her mom doesn't like him and she's just being an overprotective mother, and because how you lived your life when you were younger, and I said to myself on the pole, thinking about her being a stripper or whatever, then he was like, you pretty much had to raise her as a kid. And I was like, oh, not on the pole.
I didn't know Frank was born in the 70s. I thought he would be born. I thought he was at least a year older than Joe. I know he's Joe's older brother, but I didn't know that there was like a age gap.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Karen was born in the early 80s because no, it can't be. They would all have to be born in the 70s because Karen was a teenager in 1993.
Yeah.
Or 92, 93.
Yeah, when she was with Jagger, which I also thought about. I'm like, I can't believe that this is supposed to be the same character.
Yeah. And then the whole Jagger thing happened early in the show where she divorced him, but they never showed Jagger. Like, they didn't even recast the part. They just had his mistress come in and say, like, oh, yeah, we're together. So.
I haven't seen Night Shift yet, but I know Jagger is in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it?
Some of it, yeah, because I was kind of in and out with Soapnet at the time, but I did watch it. I did watch some of it. I think it might be on YouTube. So I know he has a son. I think he has a son.
Yeah, I read, and he named
Stone.
Mm-hmm. But not with Karen, right?
No, I don't think it's with Karen.
I was just
they were long divorced by that point.
Yeah, I was just wondering if on Night Shift, if he like mentioned Karen, because we don't really see Karen after Port Charles, right? She's just gone.
Spoiler. Okay. So there's a reason we don't see Karen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like a major reason.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's
not like a behind the scenes thing. It's like it happens in the show. So.
Okay. Do you have any theories for Time in a Bottle or speculation?
So I know that Time in a Bottle would imply time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if the computer and because the arcs are 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering so I'm guessing it's either like the first. I'm guessing obviously the first part is going to be the past lives.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one, I know that it's going to be a computer. But then, how is Jamal and Allison and Jack and Livy and Chris? How is that storyline going to be in Time in a Bottle?
Unless they're just like disconnected from that aspect.
Yeah, they probably are. I thought it was funny in Fate where every once in a while we'll see Jack and Livy and Chris and Jack and Livy and Chris, and then Jamal and Allison in the promo, but they're not focused in the promo. Like they're in like that, they're just posing in the promo.
Yeah, because they weren't always in the promo. They
weren't always in the promo, no.
And I was like, this feels like it was like a bad like Photoshop job.
Yeah, especially when they have put Ariana's head.
Yeah, her floating head.
Floating head, like ooh.
That?
Like Darla, oh no, bold and beautiful.
Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
I do like that they split them up by chapters.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they quickly stopped that, because it seems like it was like a little much.
Do you remember if they do that for Time in a Bottle before it goes away?
I don't think they do, because even when they promoted Time in a Bottle, they said Time in a Bottle starts Monday. They didn't say Time in a Bottle Chapter 1 starts Monday. So yeah.
Is this the first time that the show ever kind of like did anything? It's not really supernatural yet, I guess. More sci-fi, maybe. Did they ever tease anything, or was it more just always like medical? It was just like the hospital.
It's kind of always been medical. I know a few loopy soap opera stuff has happened, like Julie trying to poison everybody during Thanksgiving.
That sounds amazing. I have to watch that.
Yeah. 1998 Thanksgiving special. So just find it. It's actually, it's like, it starts off like a straight Thanksgiving special. Then like they cut to Julie in the prison, and she's like, and then she tells, who was she in the prison? Was it Frank? I want to say. I think it was Frank. She said, "Oh yeah, by the way, I poisoned the food items," and she said, "Stop!" He calls the family, says, "Stop eating."
Oh my god. Julie sounds amazing. Why did they get rid of her?
Yeah, I'm guessing the actress wanted to leave. That's probably what happened. But she comes back. She comes back during the arc. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying which arc.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something happens in that arc.
All right, we'll let that be a surprise then. Pops up. All right, well, for those of you who are wondering, because you're watching this on video, the ticker at the bottom says #FireAlar, #Days. Deadline put out an article recently that executive producer Albert Alar has created a toxic environment on the Days set, and many of the actresses have been victim to this. Many of them losing their jobs, being sexually harassed, screamed at, and I'm sure some actors, I'm sure it's not limited to just actresses. None of them deserves to be in a work environment like that. They deserve to feel safe in their work environment, and we are fully standing with the actors and the crew, and we would like for him to be removed from his position. So that's why it says #FireAlar, because that's what we're pushing for. And hopefully we will get breaking news that that's happening soon. We're looking at you, Ken Corday. And also, Soap Opera Digest, get your shit together and start reporting.
And I hope nothing, because if you have been following along with us watching Port Charles, Albert Alar was also a director at Port Charles for its entire run. So I'm hoping that nothing happened over at Port Charles. But if it did, actresses, feel free to speak out. Actors, feel free to speak out, because this man needs to be stopped.
Yes. So that is our little PSA on that subject. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And next time you see us, we will be starting the second arc, Time in a Bottle. Until next time, have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.